Hey guys, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be getting ready for our photosynthesis lab. And so you're going to need to make sure you have several things in front of you when we get started. First thing you'll need to have is a beaker of water. So 100 milliliters. I'm going to go ahead and put it at the table so you can kind of see all my setup. You'll need to make sure that you then have also a syringe. So you can kind of see the syringe there. No needle in the syringe. You'll need to have a hole punch. Let's see if I can grab that. So a hole punch. You'll need to have some spinach leaves, and then you'll need to have some baking soda. All right, so to get started, you're going to need to punch some holes into your spinach so we can have these little discs, which are called chads. And when you want to try to create a hole punch, you want to make sure that you're punching holes of the spinach in between the veins, or the kind of like the little lines on the leaf. And then you'll want to go ahead and make sure you can, easily punch out like 15, 20 of them, but you need to have at least 5 of them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to need to then put baking soda, 1 gram of baking soda, into your beaker and then stir it up. So I've already done that. The next thing that we want to do is we're going to go ahead and take our syringe, and again, notice there's no needle here. We're going to take our syringe and we're going to go ahead and pull it apart, and we're going to put these chads into our beaker. And here's the reason why. If I go ahead and put a chad or a piece of spinach leaf into the water, you'll notice that it's floating on the top. I don't know if you can see that very well. Get the camera. It's floating on the top. And so we don't want them to float. We want them to go to the bottom so that we can see photosynthesis actually occur. So we need to make sure that we can get all the air out of our leaves. Leaves actually have air pockets in them, and so we need to make sure that all the air is out so that will sink. All right, so I went ahead and put all of the chads into our syringe. And I'm going to go ahead and put the syringe in. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some water. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make sure that we can get all this air out. As I said, the leaves have air pockets, so we want to make sure we get all the air out of that so that we can go ahead and we're basically going to create a vacuum. So I'm going to go ahead and get all the water, all the air out. And you need to flick it a little bit just to make sure that you can go ahead and get all the air bubbles out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my finger over the area where there normally was a syringe, and I'm going to go ahead and pull. And what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and creating a vacuum to cause all those air bubbles, if I can do a great job at it, create all those air bubbles to come out of the leaf. Oops. As you see, water. And if I do it well enough, as I got some on me, you can start to see that some of the chads are falling down to the bottom because I sucked out all the air bubbles from them. So you can start to see they're falling. You need to continue that until you can get all of them to come down to the bottom. You can start to see that. Now once you have them all at the bottom, you're then going to go ahead and place them into our beaker of carbon dioxide water. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once you do that, get all the chads out of there. Once you do that, you'll notice that they go ahead and they start to sink. So you're going to put all the chads that have no air bubbles in them down into your beaker. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put them in the light source. That one I didn't get all out. So we're going to go ahead and put it into the light source. Now you're going to have this light source, and I don't know if y'all can see very well, so I'm going to push the camera back a bit. So I have my light source right here. But the problem is if I go ahead and turn this on and put this over here, it's going to create a lot of heat for this plant, and that's something we don't want to have. So you may need to go ahead and put a container of water over it. So if you notice, I have a container of water that I'm going to go ahead and sit right on top which it's going to go ahead and absorb all the heat, but allow the light to pass through. And so that way it can go ahead and protect the leaf. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kind of fast forward it so you can kind of see what actually happens. Make sure you have these lab directions written down, and we'll see you tomorrow.